somebody was really being honest about what being happily married looked like. Me and my husband been married for 8 years, and I feel like this is the first year I feel like we've been happily married, if you know what I mean. First year, I feel like we had our walls built up, and honestly, if you don't ever deal with those things, they stay up. For one time, I was talking to my friend, and she's been married for like maybe 13 years, and she was like, man, I feel like I'm gonna divorce my husband every year. I mean, every month. And I was like, every month? And she was like, yeah, girl. So I went home and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But honestly, I found out real quick how much truth that was, how much wisdom that was. If your partner is not pushing you, right? Pushing your buttons, pushing these things, because your marriage, I've already said this, is not meant to have you being happy all the time. It's meant to make you holy, which means we're supposed to get closer to God, get more like Him, be more at peace like Him, be more loving like Him, be more Christ-like. We are called to higher. And if you never get to that point where your partner doesn't just push your buttons, and in reality, when you pray, God, change my circumstance, and God changes your heart, that's the key to being happily married. You can look at your partner and realize you've been through all these things that were meant to break you, but y'all are still together. All these things that were really pulling y'all apart, but you still choose each other. See, all these things that were meant to literally still kill and destroy, and God's like, oops, swooped in every single time and brought y'all back together. That's what happily marriage looks like. Being like, honey, how can I help you? What do you need? That's the key about being happily married. It's not I, but we. Clock it.
Hey, I don't particularly disagree with anything she said. Shout out to her, the content creator. One thing I will probably disagree, but everything else she said, which we'll go into, but is feeling like you want to like divorce your spouse every month. That nah, I ain't never been in that situation. Or there are day is there like a day in a week, maybe one day in a month, but not every month. Like, yeah, man, I don't know if we gonna make it. Like, nah, that's never been the case. We had some stretches, sure, right? And one thing for me that I like to do is at the end of the year, hey, do you want to do another year? And that's more me being facetious, right? But it's also, a very serious question because you never know what somebody's mind state is. Throughout the year, it could be super gravy, but you just never know, right? You just basically checking in. But for me, it's a for sure. But again, it's just more being facetious. But I will say, yeah, man. I always tell you guys, I love being married. Me and my wife been together over 10 years, married over 6 now. So, has it been a easy ride? Hell no, right? It's had some bumps in it. However, to the content creator's point, I can appreciate her sharing her perspective on the viewpoint from a woman who's actually married and saying, hey, it's good to look up when you've been through a lot and you feel that God's brought y'all closer. You know what I mean? It's good to be like, man, we've been through so many ups and downs, trials and tribulations, and we still stuck it out. That is a great feeling. I'm not even gonna lie. Cause listen, like I said, marriage is tough, man, because it's basically like two individuals figuring out how to mold each other to become one. Right? Again, that's not to say you have to change what your mode is, but you're just figuring out how to fit it together, right? You're figuring out how to blend together to become one piece, even though you come with your own separate pieces, right? Again, the pieces are what they are. You're just trying to figure out how to make it embrace and come together. That's really the key. And throughout there, right, as you're trying to twist and turn and figure out how to shimmy in this part of her life. She's trying to figure out how to shimmy in your part of life, right? It's going to be some tension, right? But that's the part about getting closer. As you get more tight knit, is not going to be always just cut and dry, right? Some pieces of y'all coming together is you're going to have to turn it a certain way to fit. Right? You can have to twist it a certain way so it can squeeze in. And that's what she's really referring to when it comes to those relationships over time. If you stick it out and, y'all sticks together. But a lot of people give up before y'all can even blend everything together. Some of y'all try to overtake too much of the coming together. And that's why it's not a cohesive balance. And that's when it's not one, it's one person trying to take over versus the other, right? So the last point I want to put on this is, man, always have God in the mix, man. Again, I'm not trying to preach to y'all, but I definitely think that the man, both parties, number one, need to come in and know who they are, right? And that doesn't mean you know it all or whatnot. That means coming in and saying, hey, you're sure of yourself, you're confident in yourself and who you are, and then y'all grow together, y'all build together on where y'all starting points are. And again, no one's perfect. However, I think it's even more important that a man comes in and have some leadership skills behind himself, because it's a lot that he's gonna have to manage. He's got to manage himself, his household. He has to manage his wife's emotions, the kids, the dog. You know what I'm saying? His work-life balance, his friends. It's a lot to manage and balance, because the truth of the matter is, listen, no one's gonna look down on, unfortunately, that's just what it is. No one's gonna look down on the woman or the child or the dog. People gonna care for them no matter what. You as a man, bro, nobody care about you. You know what I'm saying? But your mama maybe. For real, for real. So like the world, they give you no shortcut. They give you no pity. And this is the crazy part. I try to speak to all the men out there. Bro, no one's gonna give you a pity party. No one. They only care about the women, the kids, and the dog. That's the truth of the matter. So it's just even more important that you come in ready to lead and come with those skills. But again, to the content creator's point, listen, marriage isn't easy, man. I know she's, well, I don't want to say I know she's being funny, but it seems that she's being funny about, her talking to her homegirl about, yeah, girl, having some girl talk, yeah, girl, I want to divorce my man every month. Right. And again, I can see what she's saying, but it's just girl talk. That's what it sounds like. So, but anyway, what y'all think about this, man? Her messaging. Did you get any value from what she said? Hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video out if anybody need to hear this message. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Much love. Peace.